Y'all, Jill here, very quickly. No live reactions, obviously. And my DVR didn't actually record Fear the Walking Dead. Not that I was exactly planning on doing a reaction for it. I don't know, does anyone even care about that? Anyway, I'm doing this recording now to talk about Negan's Circle Jerk of Death and who I think got it, I think. So there's a theory that the POV shots throughout the episode, throughout the season finale, was the POV of the person who gets batted. Now, if that's the case, and they decide to stick with that, then that definitely excludes anyone who was not captured beforehand, and it only leaves 4 people to choose from. Michonne, Daryl, Glenn, and Rosita. The POV shot includes Daryl in it. The person is behind Daryl. So obviously it can't be Daryl. It also can't be Michonne because the person is aligned to the center, and Michonne was directly behind Daryl. Also, it wouldn't make any sense to kill her as her story is not done. Daryl's been kind of laid back and chill this season. His story's not done. One can make the argument about Glenn, but so far the TV canon has given the two-finger salute to comic canon, which I adore. I'm definitely a TV canon girl and not a comic canon girl. And no offense to comics, but we're talking about the show here. So it's possible they won't do that, but fans are insisting that it's one of the original Land of Five, which means that it would have to be Glenn, because it still can't be Daryl, because it's a POV shot thing. Now, if they throw out the whole POV shot thing and they just use that as like a device for the people trapped in the van, which I think was a mistake. I would have been more interested to know what was happening with them than, say, all the screen time we got from Morgan and Carol. Not that I don't love Carol, but the pressing situation was obviously with Michonne, Daryl, Glenn, and Rosita. That would have been more interesting for me to see. So yeah, if it's someone in the van, in the comics, obviously it's Glenn. I don't think that they'll necessarily go that route. I know that the ending was altered a bit, like the audio anyway. It was more muffled than the one that was released earlier the week before the screening. So it was more garbled in the actual airing of the show as opposed to before. And in the less garbled version, it sounds like it's Glenn. But even then, it's like you don't have a visual. You can't really see what's happening. Who knows what the fuck's going on. If they throw out the whole POV thing and it's not someone in the van, then it's entirely probable it's either Eugene or Abraham. Neither of which I want to lose. Don't want to lose Aaron. Honestly, a lot of people have been insisting it might be... Who's on the list? Okay. People who... I think anyone who says Michonne is probably just like anti-Michonne, whatever. A lot of people have been saying Glenn because of the comics. Okay. It looked like they were wrapping up Eugene's story a bit. But again, not an Atlanta 5 still alive person anyway. And neither is Michonne for that matter. And then Abraham, it's like, if they kill him, they kind of have to kill Sasha too, because I don't think she can handle that once again, especially so soon with Tyrese and Bob. It's just, she was already kind of bursting at the seams. Like, she was laying on a bed of walkers in a pit, like, she's finally just, really come back from the brink. She's found love, and not even just love, like, he's professing marriage and children and pouring Bisquick and all kinds of wonderful things that he's saying to her. He's really a poet. Like, he's got some really interesting sayings, but Abraham's also kind of he's got a poet's heart, and it's kind of lovely. But yeah, if she has to, not only losing him, but if she has to witness him getting his head bashed in, y'all gotta take Sasha too. She's not gonna make it. And I wouldn't expect her to. That would be horrific for anyone. But compound it with everything else she's seen. Just based on how she's handling it. Now, not to say that she couldn't overcome it. Like, Maggie saw her father's head chopped off. Granted at a distance and not a few feet away, which is what the situation is. Literally, like, what is he? A yard from her? Maybe 2. Hearing the cracks and the squish and the crunch and having brain matter flying around, probably landing on her in blood. I don't think she'd survive that. I really don't. And it's not a slight against Sasha at all. I think she would just be gone. Maybe catatonic or suicidal or something. No. If they stick with the POV thing to someone in a van, and just generally speaking, in regards to all the characters who are there, my least favorite is Rosita, and it's not a slight against Rosita per se. It's just of those people who are there right now, it'd be her. And if we're talking overall in terms of who could go, Morgan's getting on my fucking nerves. I mean, I want to like Morgan. He was there at the beginning, and he's got like this interesting story, but he shot that guy for Carol, so maybe he's finally found the middle ground. But before, he was just too far on this side for my taste. Like, you gotta be realistic, dude. You gotta give something, and now he might finally get it. And I'm pretty sure him and Carol are gonna pork. I'm pretty sure they're going that way. I'd bet money on that. Yeah, they're gonna get down. Anyway, I don't know. I don't really want anyone to go, but if we're talking overall, Rosita will still be on that list, but maybe not so far down. Tara, Heath. If we're talking the Alexandria person, I just really love Aaron. Aaron's boyfriend could go. Like, I really love Aaron. I really think Ross Marquand is just a joy to watch, and he hasn't had enough to do in this previous season, so I hope we see more of him. Hope we see more of Jesus too. Yeah, I just really, and I wrote a couple of different things, like, what if Merle was there, right? Definitely a character who was gone too soon. I feel like he could negotiate his way out of it. I mean, not just him personally, but the group's way out of it. And I'll put a link in this video for that. In the description, rather. And then I also wrote it, like, well, what if the governor had been there? He wouldn't necessarily negotiate a way out of it, but he would definitely make an argument as to who's the weakest person who could go. So I'll link that. That's in the same link, so that doesn't matter. But I also felt like Aaron is like the resident politician. When he comes across Rick in his group, and Rick's like threatening to murder him, I'm gonna stab you in the back of the skull and all this other shit. Like, he handled it pretty well, considering all of it. And I know it was a frightening situation, but I feel like if anyone had been there to be quick on their feet, mentally, and could talk their way out of it, like, well, it would be Aaron. And I wish he had made a plea of some kind, not one out of desperation, but like a cool, like, business oriented thing. Like, well, no, if you want us to work for you, we work as a unit. Here's, X, Y, and Z reasons why this does need to happen. And we did you a favor, Those guys were weak. They had the numbers, we didn't, and we still came out on top. We didn't lose any of our people. So that should tell you, what you need to know about this group and why we are so awesome. So I wish he had gone that route. Obviously, it couldn't have been Rick. Rick was way too devastated. Like, just not even being surrounded. It wasn't the being surrounded that did it. It was his break happened when he thought he had lost Michonne, and you just see him spiral downward, out of control, and it's quite lovely. It's quite beautiful. It's heartbreaking. I swear to God, if Andrew Lincoln doesn't get nominated for an Emmy, someone's going to get slapped by me. I will come personally slap whoever's responsible for him not at least getting nominated for best male lead, or I don't understand. This show should be nominated for all kinds of things. Andrew Lincoln he needs an Emmy, and at some point an Oscar. He deserves it. He doesn't even have to speak, and he's in that trailer and he's holding her hair and he's just so out of it, and then he looks so terrified in front of Negan. He was just gone, man. And I totally understand why Andy didn't want to get out of bed, because he is, even though he doesn't say he's method, he's totally a method actor. And he knew the place that he would have to go for this episode, and it was really ugly and hurtful and terrifying, and he was perfect. He was perfection. So he should be recognized for that. But yeah, hoping it's Rosita. It's probably not. Might be Eugene. Hope it's not him either. It's like, God, stop killing all the really smart people. Like, not that anyone else there is dumb, but, you know, like, him and Milton, like, the sciencey types, they need that. It's the fucking apocalypse. You need people like that. Like, if it was the apocalypse and I could choose my team on my squad, like, you know, I would definitely choose, like, a Walter White. Like, oh yeah, like, no, he can't really fight. He can handle a gun. And he's ruthless. But we need that. We need some of that, please. For sure. He'd be on my dream team. No question about it. But, yeah, those are my thoughts. I'm going to try not to obsess over this for the next several months. If anyone's interested in, like, a Fear of the Walking Dead live reaction, I might do a couple. I'm actually planning, there's a lot of changes going on in my life. I'm actually planning a move, so, and I need to finish writing some scripts and things, but, yeah, if anyone's interested in that, let me know. Drop a comment, and, yeah, I hope everyone enjoys their week, and we'll talk again soon.